What's up everyone, Nico and me here, and today we have more news about something that I think is really interesting. So Aonuma, the creator of Breath of the Wild, says a 2D Zelda game on the way for Nintendo Switch is a definite possibility. So again, I apologize for my librarian voice not being the best. I am not the best of narrator, but we will get through this as a unit. I like that word, unit. We are a unit. So, this is from mynintendonews.com. Go check them out. We've got the long-awaited Legend of Zelda. We've got the long-awaited Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild coming soon, but that's certainly not going to be the only Zelda title for the system. Can we be sure about? Because I feel like we said that about the Breath of the Wild and the 3D Mario or 3D Zelda game for Wii U, but I mean, Breath of the Wild is the only game coming, a Zelda game that's a real Zelda game coming to Nintendo Wii U, and so I mean, okay, I'll give it to them. It's probably not the only Zelda title we'll see for the Switch, but like we can't be so sure, okay? Like Zelda games take forever to develop because they are so deep and they have so much content to them and meaning and plot and character design. We usually only get one or two per system, so I mean, maybe, hopefully, we'll get, okay, I'm sorry, we are one sentence into this and almost 2 minutes into the video, so I apologize. Game Informer sat down with the Legend of Zelda producer Eiji Aonuma and talked with him about the possibility of the Nintendo 3DS Zelda team creating a new game for the Nintendo Switch. He said he wants them to create something in the more evolved 2D style approach. I really love 2D Zelda games. Like, not as much as 3D, but I really do love them almost as much as the 3D. I think they're really cool and one of the most complex and creative 2D games I've ever played. When we asked point blank if there were a possibility that the 3DS Zelda teams were working on a new game for the Nintendo Switch, Aonuma said yes, there is a definite possibility. There is good news. This is good news for classic fans of the series, or anyone who worry Breath of the Wild has strayed too far from the original Zelda formula. While we've enjoyed everything we've seen in Breath of the Wild, we're sure many fans would also be excited about the idea of seeing a follow-up to 2013's A Link Between Worlds on their television screens. Definitely agree. Breath of the Wild, I'm so excited for. I'm going to love it so much. But another title like Link Between Worlds that would be mobile and on the TV would be really cool as well. I wouldn't be as hyped as I would be for Breath of the Wild, but it'd still be a really cool thing. So, there are definitely good things about the 2D world and the playstyles of the 2D world, Aonuma says. There are a lot of fans who enjoy that style. The Nintendo Switch style, which is evolved style of gameplay, is not necessarily ... I want you to think of it more as an evolved 2D style. For the 3DS team, I am trying to make them think in a more evolved 2D style approach. So, this is probably talking about when they were making Link Between Worlds, but I mean, could this be also what he said about the new thing? Because he just mentioned Nintendo Switch, then he also talks about the 3DS, so possibly he's already been talking or in the works for a 2D Zelda game on the Switch. The handheld development team will not be phased out because of the Nintendo Switch. Switch will allow the users to bring their home console on the go, but this does not mean handheld game development like Nintendo 3DS will be discontinued. I have a feeling that if we see a Zelda 2D game in the next 2 years, that game could potentially also be on the 3DS, much like how Breath of the Wild is both on Wii U and the Switch. Is this a good thing? I don't know. It's up to you to decide. I think it's better for them to just focus on the Switch and not the 3DS, but since the 3DS has such a large install base who still is buying content, we see that in the Pokemon Sun and Moon being one of the best-selling games of 2016, I really think that it could be a good idea, and it would sell a lot if they release another 2DS Zelda game on the 3DS. Sorry if you hear a dog bark in the background, you're just really excited about this 3DS Zelda team working on a new 2D game. So that's a definite fun possibility. Aonuma has worked so hard on this amazing new journey we're about to experience in just a few weeks, Breath of the Wild. And I definitely don't think he is focusing on a 2D game right now, obviously, but I definitely think that it is a possibility. He said it definitely is a possibility. So when you see those dogs are really barking hard. Anywho, let's look at the comments. I like looking at the comments and see what people are thinking. Maybe making fun of a few commenters, but in a fun, satirical way. Okay. Nico Shrine, Necro Shine says, "How about a Metroidvania game? It's been 13 years since we've had one of those. Nintendo will continue to ignore fans' demands for one, but at least we're getting bloodstained." I disagree. I think an open world Zelda game is a game that so many people have been wanting. So I definitely don't think that they ignore fans' demands. I think a Hawaii Pokemon region is a game that a lot of people have wanted. I think the Nintendo Switch is a console that the Nintendo community has really, really wanted. I think the new Splatoon. I think the new Mario Odyssey coming back to the 64 roots. Splatoon getting tons of new content. I think almost everything that Nintendo is doing right now is listening to fans' demands. We're gonna see if Metroid and Mother 3 come. I think that's those are like the two things that Nintendo fans are really begging for right now that hasn't been answered. And Reggie Halfley I'll link at the end of the video, kind of confirmed that those are coming, or at least has hinted very, very strongly to it. Just to be clear, I want a 2D Metroid title. Metroidvania just came out, lol. But I love Konami to do a proper 2D Castlevania game, unlike the 3DS games from a few years back. Bloodstains look good, but I'm hoping it fares better than the other Kickstarted games. I would like a 2D Metroid game, but I definitely think that a Super Metroid type, or Metroid Prime type game would be the game that I think would make people the most happy, and be the best. Nintendo Sub-Commander Cereza says, "They speak as if Breath of the Wild is a one-time spin-off. This game is my new standard. I expect every entry from henceforth to be at least close to what this is. This is coming from someone who holds Metroid Prime as a Metroid standard." Well, I think Nintendo Sub-Commander Cereza is a bit delusioned here. I think Breath of the Wild will be one of the few open world Zelda games. I don't think Zelda will stay open world forever, and I don't think it's going to be the standard. I think there will probably be more Breath of the Wild open world Zelda games in the future, but I don't think Zelda is now a fully open world type of game. Zelda as a whole is kind of open world to begin with. I mean, it's not in like Skyrim standards or anything like that, but to the point where like you still get to adventure, you still can technically go wherever you want. Sure, your fate is and story is linear, but in a way I think they will keep some of the things, like maybe make it kind of open world but more linear story wise. So go here, go here, go here. Once you're done, you can explore the world and tons of side quests at the end. But I definitely disagree. I don't think Breath of the Wild will be the new standard. Sure, he does say my new standard, but I think Breath of the Wild is a one-time spin-off, just like Twilight Princess is a one-time spin-off. There won't be a Twilight Princess 2, most likely. So I don't think Breath of the Wild will be replicated. I don't think it will be like Breath of the Wild 2 or anything. I think open world might happen again for Zelda, but I don't think it's going to be... I don't think it's staying forever, is what I'm trying to say. Mike, did I really just read that as a 5? Mike S. says, "The last line just says so much. 3DS-style games will still be made for the Switch. Is the Switch still not a successor, Nintendo?" I say the Switch is a successor to both the Wii U and the 3DS. I think it's pretty obvious now. It is a handheld. It is a home console. It merges both styles perfectly. If you want a Nintendo Switch, if you want a handheld game, a handheld console, a handheld whatever, you have it in the Nintendo Switch. If you want a console, you have a console Nintendo system. Whatever else is addition, it's plus, it's great. Now, the only thing is, the 3DS usually goes for $200. The Nintendo Switch is $300. Will the Nintendo Switch end up being $250, $200 in a year or two from now? Of course. So, I don't think the price argument is valid. I think Nintendo Switch will be very, very close to what the 3DS was selling for. So, market reaction will tell it. They clearly will release a new content for Nintendo 3DS until it will stay relevant in the market. The Nintendo 3DS still retain its pros. Form factor, clamshell, small size, low price of the console, low price of the games, exclusive games, stylus, dual screen. Many things here. It is still touchscreen. The handheld is touchscreen in the Switch. Low price of games, debatable. I think they will stay $60 Wii U price. But I do see some 3DS style games being $40 on the Switch. Low price of the console. Didn't the 3DS, wasn't it really expensive when it first came out? I think the Switch will end up going for $200, $250 in a year. So I don't know if that is relatively a strong claim. All the new 3DS XLs right now are still going for $200, which is pretty expensive for a handheld. Form factor, I agree. You can't really fit a Switch in your pocket. You're going to have to kind of carry it with something. So that is something that's going for the 3DS and the dual screen as well. Exclusive games, all the exclusive games that are coming to the 3DS will likely be will go right towards the Switch. I don't see Game Freak stopping Pokemon until the next pure handheld comes out. So, yeah. Mike S. fights right back, shoots a comment saying, if everything is on the Switch, it'll make it extremely appealing. We've already seen that not all games will be $60. Eventually, people move on to new consoles, even when the old ones are still on shelves being sold for cheap. And really? Vita? There's some sass going on here. Actually, I kind of want to look at this Elgato versus Mike S battle. Oh my gosh. I would like seeing it selling 120 consoles, but 100 million. Anyway, it's important that Nintendo continue to be rich, so we Switch players can expect big investments in our side. Vita is still very, very strong in Japan, they say. Elgato is not. I definitely looking at 120 million sold. Don't set your expectations that high. It will fail you. The Nintendo Wii success is such a lucky hit. It's you don't really get that lightning in a jar all that while. Sure, I also hope it sells 120 million consoles, but I don't see it selling 120 million consoles because that's out of this world. That only happens once in a great while that a system sells that well. Anyway, it's important to know that, I think a lot of games will be $40, $50 range. I think, of course, the big Switch titles like the Wii U titles or the Wii titles are going to be $60, like they would be. Not as strong as 3DS is, and surely not as big as the Switch will be. Switch is going to destroy the Vita. Doubtfully, no doubt about it. Still has outsold. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it will outsell the Vita in the first year, I think. Definitely, no doubt about it. Still has outsold the Wii U. Not bad. Wait, really? The Vita has outsold the Wii U? We should fact check this. Vita sales. No site to trust, just like the Vita. Wikipedia. Let's Control F sales here. Well, figures that have not been confirmed due to Sony ceasing to release Vita sales 2 years after hitting 4 million. So they haven't really released. Oh, okay. So by the end of 2015, the EEDAR estimates the sales of the Vita out be around 10 million, which the Wii U has outsold. So I don't know about that, Agato. Do you guys think the Nintendo Switch will outsell the Wii U easily? I think so, personally. I mean, if the handheld community is there alone, that will be enough. Sony's all but abandoned the Vita with the only indies and small. I'm going to miss the 3D. I'm not. I don't think I will miss the 3D whatsoever. I really doubt that many people will. I do think the 3D was a smart idea, but it kind of hurt my eyes a lot, and it didn't really serve me with much. I would use it for Pokemon once in a while for Wi-Fi battles to make it seem more intense, but after a few minutes, it kind of just hurt my eyes. It did look cool, and it was a good idea, but I won't be missing it. Mike S., all over this forum, really, fighting back at Jada Dry Bones. Looking back at 3D was really nice, but man, was it a useless gimmick if there ever was one. Nintendo did a great job turning the 3DS around, but you have to wonder what would have happened if it was just DS2 or DS Advanced. Basically the same exact thing minus the 3D. Maybe it could have been a bit more powerful and cheaper at launch too, and not nearly the price cut. I agree with Mike S. I think if they took out the 3D and a lot of the thing where it read the cards, the 3DS could have been either cheaper or they could have added more things to the system to make it more powerful. So I agree that the 3D, I don't know if it was useless. I think a lot of people did enjoy it, but not enough. Also battery. Jaded is not letting Mike fight back, okay? I personally don't think it would have been as popular without the 3D. Even if only half of us loved it, that's a lot of gamers. I mean, I love the 3D gaming. Love, love, love it. No bull poop. I can't be the only one. I'm going to buy a new 3DS XL, I'm assuming, at the next price drop. Maybe a third used. I want to be able to play on it until I'm dead. Jaded is a dedicated 3DS fan, and so am I. I've bought the 3DS. I have 3 3DSs. Mostly because one of them broke and one of them's kind of old, and I really wanted the Galaxy one, but I love my 3DS, and I agree, but I don't think that the 3D is needed. If I could choose, I would rather battery life be better or better specs or hardware in place of the 3D. My 3DS is fine spec-wise. Like, I don't really care about specs that much as long as the games are good. But if I had to choose between specs, battery, or 3D would be at the bottom of the list. But I think it was a really cool idea, and it was really important for the marketing of the 3DS and making sure the 3DS looks different than the 2DS, the DS. So, yeah. Agato is very optimistic here, and I want to agree with them. Coolness is growing stronger more than regret for the new 3DS, though. I agree with this part right here. Nintendo Switch is going to be the coolest console in Nintendo's history, definitely. I think that the Nintendo Switch gimmick of being 2 consoles in one is the most solid and best gimmick they've ever done, if it even is considered a gimmick. I love it so much. It's so smart. It's not like gyro controls or motion controls where it kind of gets old fast. It's such a smart idea combining their incredibly successful and incredibly amazing and incredibly acclaimed handheld with their home console is a great idea. We have only to gain from its 2DS, 3DS. I don't know how to say that word. Combined and hybrid concept. It has everything. Better to switch before than later. If you were going to try to get me to buy a Switch at launch, you are going to fail as hard as the Emperor failed to convert Luke to the dark side. Jaded! 3DS fan does not let go. Wowzers. Mike S., I'm sure he has a good comeback for Jaded, but Jaded he's on point with these comebacks. If you are trying to get me to buy a Nintendo Switch at launch, you are going to fail as hard as the Emperor failed to convert Luke to the dark side. Jada, let me tell you something. You need to buy a Nintendo Switch at launch because it is the fantastic console. It combines your 3DS with a Wii U, with better games, specs, and more. Zelda Breath of the Wild is going to be one of the best games, if not the best game of 2017. It's open world Zelda. It's Zelda at its prime. It's fantastic. You have Bomberman, Super Bomberman R, Snipper Clips if you want to get fun. I'm excited for Snipper Clips. And we also have ARMS and Splatoon 2 and Mario Odyssey confirmed coming this year. Get the Nintendo Switch at launch. My throat is getting parched, but I'm eager to see what Mike S. has to say about it. Pretty much every major Nintendo game for the next 5-6 years isn't enough. Get him. Honestly, there is nothing on Switch I want to play. If the next SteamWorld game is a Switch exclusive, there will be one. I'm not suffering as an early adapter again. Not one more time. I'll get a Switch when I need it, and it's fleshed out, not a day sooner. Isn't this the same guy who said he bought like the 3DS 3 times? Yeah, he's going to buy another 3DS. Why? Why would you say you don't want the Nintendo Switch, but you want a second 3DS more? Mike S. needs to fight back. I've already got about 6-7 games I want this year, so that's good enough for me. 1, I already own one, and 2, I could get a Wii U instead, but the Switch portability calls to me. Plus, I got a sweet butt deal. Good, pretty good news. Yeah, I'm done with this. My throat's parched. That was an interesting conversation. Jaded is a savage. Poor Mike S. He just wants to make everyone happy, and he got attacked. So did Agato, or whatever his name is. Thanks for watching. Don't know why this was a 22-minute video. Honestly, it could have been 1 minute tops. I think IGN or whoever made a video about this was like literally 30 seconds. But thanks for watching. If you want more, hit the subscribe button. Bye.